He knocked with trembling hands, holding his crying baby in one arm and a half-empty diaper bag in the other. She answered the door, expecting a package delivery, not a desperate man on the verge of breaking. "Please, I just need some diapers," he whispered. But what she did next, it didn't just save his day, it changed both of their lives forever. Let's begin. Asterisk, asterisk. The rain had been falling all morning, steady, cold, relentless. Madison Grant was curled up on her couch, a blanket over, her legs and her tablet balanced in one hand. She had just ended a Zoom meeting, the kind where no one turned their cameras on and everyone spoke in half-hearted tones. Her life had been like that lately, quiet, distant, drained of connection. Then the knock came. 3 soft taps, hesitant, almost like whoever was on the other side wasn't sure they had the right door. She froze. It wasn't the mailman. It wasn't time for lunch delivery. She lived alone in a quiet neighborhood on the edge of town. No traffic, no trick-or-treaters, no random guests. Curious. She pulled the blanket off, stepped into her slippers, and approached the door. And there he was, soaking wet, shoulders hunched. A man in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. His brown hair was plastered to his forehead, and a flannel shirt clung to his frame, like it had lost the will to keep him warm. But it was the baby in his arms that hit Madison. Like a gut punch, the child couldn't have been more than 8 months old. Face red from crying, cheeks damp from tears and rain. She was clinging to her father's chest, tiny fingers curling around the collar of his shirt. "I'm sorry," the man said quickly, voice breaking. I don't want to scare you. I ran out of diapers, and every store turned me away because I didn't have my card. I tried the church, but they're closed Mondays. Please, do you have any?" Madison didn't respond right away. She was still staring at the baby. The little girl looked cold, miserable, desperate. Took a step back and opened the door wider. "Come inside." He hesitated. "I don't want to. Get inside. Your daughter's shivering." The man blinked, stunned by her tone, then nodded and stepped in. Madison shut the door behind him and quickly grabbed a towel from the hallway cabinet. "What's your name?" she asked as she handed it to him. "Daniel," he said. "Daniel Holt. And this is Riley." Madison smiled softly at the baby, then turned to Daniel. "Let me see what I can find." She disappeared into the spare room where she kept emergency supplies. Her sister had a baby 2 years ago and had left behind a box of unused diapers when she moved to Boston. Madison dug through the closet, found the box, and brought it back. "Thank you," Daniel whispered, his eyes wet now, but not from the rain. Madison watched as he carefully laid Riley on her couch, dried her off with the towel, and changed her into a fresh diaper like it was second nature. His hands were gentle. His touch told a story. This wasn't just a man with a baby. This was a father fighting the world with everything he had. "Where's her mother?" Madison asked quietly. Daniel froze, his hands pausing mid-rap. "Gone. She left when Riley was 4 months. Said it was too much. Said I was better off alone." There was no anger in his voice, no resentment, just pain. Honest, raw, unfiltered pain. Madison nodded slowly. "Have you eaten today?" Daniel shook his head, still focused on his daughter. "Then sit. I'll make you both something." As Madison moved toward the kitchen, she didn't realize it yet, but that moment, that decision to let a stranger in, would begin the slow unraveling of her own tightly wound loneliness. And Daniel had no idea that behind Madison's kind smile was a broken past of her own. One she had buried under work, silence, and isolation. But fate had other plans. Because sometimes the right knock at the wrong time isn't an accident. It's a miracle in disguise. Asterisk Madison set 2 plates on the kitchen island. One with scrambled eggs and toast, the other with warm oatmeal and mashed banana for the baby. She wasn't a chef, but after the last year of eating alone, she had perfected meals that tasted like comfort. Daniel sat across from her, Riley now cradled in his lap with a pink blanket Madison had offered. She looked much calmer, now her tiny fingers tapping the table in curiosity, her big eyes scanning the new room. "I can't believe you actually let us in," Daniel said after a few bites. "Most people don't even open their doors these days." "Maybe I'm not most people," Madison replied, keeping her tone light. He looked up, caught by her voice. "You really aren't," she shrugged, forcing a smile. "You look like you were about to fall apart." "I was," he admitted. "I haven't slept in 2 days. Riley's teething. And ... I've been between jobs since last month. I tried. Everything. But it's hard when you've got a baby in one arm and no one in your corner." Madison leaned back, folding her arms. "You don't have any family?" Daniel shook his head. "My mom passed when I was a kid. My dad's never been in the picture. And friends. They stop answering your calls after the 3rd time you ask for help." Silence lingered. Madison didn't speak right away. Because she knew that feeling. That bitter taste of being alone when you're at your lowest. She had lived it. 6 months ago, she lost her younger brother in a car crash. He was the only family she had left after her mother's long cancer battle. She had watched him die in the ICU, holding his hand, promising to stay strong. And since then, she had kept her life perfectly. Contained, work, groceries, online, meetings, sleep, repeat. No risk, no openings. Until now, until this baby girl looked up at her with sleepy, trusting eyes. Until this father, wet, worn, and desperate, showed up on her doorstep with nothing but hope left. "You can stay here." "Tonight," Madison said, surprising even herself. Daniel looked stunned. "Are you serious? You and Riley need rest. That's obvious. I've got a spare room, clean linens. No weird expectations. Just, you help me carrying groceries tomorrow and I'll call it even." He blinked hard, emotion welling up. "I don't know what to say." "Then don't say anything." She stood up. "Finish eating. I'll set up the guest room." That night, after Riley fell asleep in a borrowed crib Madison had stored away in the attic from her sisters. "Visit." Daniel knocked softly on her bedroom door. "Hey," he said, keeping his voice low. "I just wanted to say thank you. I really mean it." Madison stood in the doorway, arms crossed but face warm. "You're welcome." She smiled in her sleep, Daniel said suddenly. "Riley, when she was curled up in that blanket, it's the first time I've seen her smile in days." Madison felt something inside her crack. Just a little. "Then maybe that blanket's luckier than I thought." Daniel smiled, and for the first time since stepping into her house, he didn't look broken. Just tired. Human. Real. And Madison, for the first time in months, didn't feel like the walls were closing in. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring. But something had shifted. 2 broken people had collided, and the impact, instead of shattering them, had begun to heal together. It was around 2:40 a.m. when Madison jolted awake. Loud crack had echoed through the street, a mix of thunder and something more. She sat up in bed, heart racing. For a moment, everything was silent, except for the ticking of the old wall clock. Then darkness. The whole house went black. No streetlights. No hum from the fridge. No soft baby monitor static from the guest room. A full power outage. She reached for her phone. Dead. Not out of battery. Completely brick. Static screen. Her chest tightened. "Storm surge," she muttered. The last time she'd heard thunder like that. A transformer 2 blocks over had exploded. She quickly threw on her robe and padded barefoot toward the hallway. Just as she reached the guest room door, it creaked open from the inside. Daniel stood there, Riley in his arms, both of them silhouetted by the soft blue lightning beyond the window. "She woke up crying right before it hit," he said softly. "I was about to come find you." "You good?" she asked, brushing hair from her face. He nodded. "Yeah, just..." "She's scared, and I don't know where anything is in the dark. I've got candles in the kitchen." Madison led him there, using the flashlight from a keychain in the drawer. She lit 3 candles and placed one on the island. The room transformed bathe in soft golden light that made the silence feel warm instead of cold. "She okay now?" she asked, glancing at Riley. Daniel smiled faintly. "She stopped crying the second she saw you." Madison blinked. "What?" Dead serious. He looked down at his daughter. Didn't even fuss. Just turned her head and stared. Then she reached for you. Madison didn't know what to say to that. So she looked at Riley, those big, observant eyes now calm. Her little head rested on Daniel's shoulder, and one hand clutched his collar. But her other arm had stretched out toward Madison, fingers curled in her direction. "I think she likes you," Daniel said, a tired smile spreading on his face. Madison swallowed hard. "She shouldn't. I'm not exactly a people person." Daniel tilted his head. "You let a total stranger and his baby into your home. If that doesn't make you a people person, I don't know what does." She shook her head. "That doesn't make me kind. It makes me reckless. Or it makes you someone who needed something just as badly as I did." Madison looked at him, then really looked. The lines under his eyes, the tension in his jaw, the faint bruising on his fingertips from hard labor, from trying to do everything alone. "What were you doing before?" she asked. "Before this, I was a machinist. Factory job. Not great pay, but decent hours. Got laid off when the plant automated half the line. That was 2 months after Riley was born. Your wife left a week later. She said she didn't sign up for this life. Told me I was soft. That I'd never be enough." Madison's breath caught. He continued, voice even. "She took everything but Riley. Said she wasn't built for diapers and breakdowns, then walked out." "That's brutal," Madison whispered. He shrugged. "It was, but in a weird way, it gave me purpose. She was right about one thing. I wasn't built for that life either. But I'm trying every damn day. I'm trying for her." The room went quiet again. Then Madison said something she hadn't said out loud in over a year. "My brother died in a car crash last winter. He was the last person I really had." Daniel turned to her, his face softening. "I stopped letting people in after that," she went on. "Didn't see the point. My job's remote. My groceries are delivered. I don't even talk to the neighbors. It was easier that way. But tonight, she said, eyes locked on his, felt different. The silence between them grew heavier, but not uncomfortable. It felt like something sacred. Something starting. Then Riley yawned. Loudly. Her tiny head dropped on the Daniel's shoulder, and her breath evened out. "She's out cold," he whispered. "Guess the storm doesn't scare her anymore." Madison stepped forward and gently tucked the blanket over the baby. "She's got you, and maybe now she's got me too." Daniel looked at her long and hard, then said quietly, "I think we all do." 2 days later, just as the rain gave way to sunlight, the doorbell rang. Madison was in the middle of feeding Riley mashed avocado in the high chair she pulled from storage. Daniel was outside, fixing the broken gutter, sleeves rolled up and hair sticking to his forehead. They had settled into a routine, quiet, natural, oddly comfortable. But the moment that doorbell rang, something in Madison's chest tightened. She opened the door slowly and froze. A woman stood there in a white leather jacket, heels clicking against the wooden porch, sunglasses perched high on her nose despite the cloud cover. Blonde, immaculate, thin smile. "Hi," the woman said with a tone sharp as glass. "I'm here for my daughter." Madison's stomach dropped. "Excuse me? I'm Riley's mother," she said, lowering her sunglasses just enough to reveal cold green eyes. "I'd like her back now." Daniel appeared behind Madison in seconds, as if he had sensed something. "Jessica," he said quietly. Well, she drawled. "Didn't take you long to shack up with someone else, huh?" Madison took a sharp breath. "He's not." Jessica waved a manicured hand. "Save it. I don't care who you are. I just want my baby. Daniel stepped forward. You left. You abandoned her, Jessica scoffed. And now I'm back. I had a lot to figure out, Daniel. I wasn't ready. But I am now. You're not just picking her up like a purse you forgot at a party, Madison snapped before she could. Stop herself. Jessica turned her glare on Madison. Oh? And who exactly are you? Madison looked her straight in the eye. Someone who's been here while you weren't. Jessica's jaw clenched. I'm calling my lawyer. Daniel's hand shook slightly. You can call whoever you want. But Riley stays with me. Jessica smirked. We'll see. She turned and strutted off, heels clicking like THUNDERCLAPS. Madison. Shut the door slowly. Her heart pounded. Daniel leaned against the wall, hands on his knees. I can't believe she came back. Madison placed a hand on his shoulder. She's not taking Riley. She might try. Then let her try, Madison said firmly. She'll find out what real love looks like. Because you've given. That baby everything. He looked up at her, eyes glossy. I don't want to lose her. You won't, Madison whispered. Not while I'm standing here. The courtroom was cold, silent, and filled with tension. Daniel sat nervously with Riley in his arms, while Madison sat just behind him. Jessica stood across the room, calm and smug, with her lawyer doing all the talking. They painted a perfect picture. Jessica was reformed, ready, and the biological mother. Daniel was unemployed, unstable, and living off strangers. Daniel's chest tightened. It felt like everything was slipping away. The judge finally turned toward him. Mr. Holt, do you have anything you'd like to say? He stood slowly. I'm not perfect, he began, voice low but steady. But I never gave up on Riley. I've been there for her every day. I didn't walk away. I didn't vanish. I stayed. Jessica rolled her eyes. Daniel glanced back at Madison, then added, I may not have a lot, but my daughter is loved. And that's something you can't buy or fake. The judge nodded, then looked at Madison. Ms. Grant, you've been housing. Them? Madison stood. Yes, Your Honor. They knocked on my door needing diapers. I thought it would be one night. But I saw a father who'd do anything for his child. I couldn't just close the door. And why are you here today? Because that baby is safe with him. And because he's not alone anymore. There was silence. The judge looked between them both. Then down at Riley resting peacefully in Daniel's arms. Temporary custody remains with Mr. Holt. She declared. Visitation for the mother may be discussed in 6 months, pending further review. Jessica's mouth dropped open. Daniel exhaled sharply. Madison smiled. Riley let out a sleepy little laugh like she knew. Outside the courthouse, Daniel looked at Madison. You didn't have to speak, she smiled. I wanted to. He nodded. Slowly. So, what now? She looked at Riley, then at him. Now we build something real. He swallowed hard, emotion rising in his chest. Together? Madison's voice was quiet. Sure, together. And just like that, what began as a desperate knock became the start of something permanent. Something stronger than luck. A life built from kindness, from love, from choosing to stay.